Hello, welcome back to the Red Leaf Retrocast Modern Gaming Podcast, episode 25 for September 2019. I am your host, Jay Silver, and I am joined by my friend and other host, JD.
Yes, I am also here.
Don't lie to the people, you're not here.
I am so here.
No,
You're here.
not.
You're awake.
Barely.
The tables have turned, Jay. You have woken up at the crack of dawn to do a podcast.
Yeah, I know, it's usually you. I now know how it feels to be JD.
Super tired, kind of out of it, and then as soon as you get your blood boiling on something, that's when you wake up.
Yeah. Podcast time.
Alright, so we're doing this a little differently today. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games we're going to just softly mention, just a brief statement, a brief thought, and then we have more thoughts over the rest of the games, because September was a large month, highly anticipated. It took forever to at least demo all these games.
Yeah.
We
October's
got...
pretty big too, and you refuse to play 2K20.
Well, I'm not playing shitty Dreamcast games coming out in 2019, okay?
I thought you liked the Dreamcast.
I love the Dreamcast. I don't like Dreamcast games in 2019, aka WWE 2K20.
You're just very incorrect and need to play it, but okay.
With microtransactions and shitty business practices. So, thumbs down already.
Look, I'm sure that it's not going to be as bad as ever. I can't even finish that sentence.
Yeah, it's a bad game. So, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? 3, 6, yeah, 9 games to talk about in more detail. We finish out the cast with Gears 5 and then Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening HD Remake. You and your buddy Shannon went into depth over Gears 5, and then my mom and I went into, that was our game of the month for Link's Awakening.
Well, yeah. No, look, see, Shannon and I have played through all the Gears games, like leading up to Gears 5, and I have issues with that game, but we can get to that later.
Exactly. So, how about we start off with the mentions and just slowly go down the list, shall we?
Okie dokie. So first off on the mentions, we have River City Girls.
Yeah, so it's the female kind of new age version of River City Ransom, but now they're anime girls in it.
That sounds pretty awesome.
It's very okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a beat 'em up. It's based on the gameplay, but the fighting mechanics aren't really all there. The beat 'em up mechanics is probably a better way to put it. But it's really easy. The game is super simple. It's a beat 'em up that's been simplified. Jesus. Did I wake up at 6 a.m.?
I don't know, did you? I was sending you messages about Absolute Andy, but maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I was awake at 6 a.m.
You're crazy.
Yeah. The design's kind of poor. The story is very bland. It's not much to it, but it's by WayForward Games, so there's a lot of love there at the same time. I'm a big fan of the designs. Yeah, I mean, that's, what else more can you say about it? If you wanted a new age River City Ransom that's definitely a lot easier, then this game's very okay.
Alrighty. Then we had Contra Road Corps.
This game is absolute shit. Don't play it. Everything's broken. It's a Contra game where your gun overheats, and they didn't even remake, like, they didn't redo anything that makes the Contra franchise loved. They did everything that makes you hate the game.
Alrighty.
It is one of the worst games of the year.
Moving on to Greedfall.
Greedfall it's your standard adventure game that has a lot of flaws. You'll get bored with it pretty quick.
Okay. DQ11S.
So Dragon Quest XI-S. Dragon Quest XI came out last year, and I wasn't totally into it. It's still your standard Dragon Quest XI formula. They haven't done much to advance the franchise. What made me look at S was it has all the DLC, the expanded story, and the S version, the Switch version, that's what that stands for, it has the option to play it in the old Super Nintendo graphics.
Oh, that sounds freaking cool.
And I immediately fell in love with the game. because of its simplicity, I was willing to overlook a lot of those issues I had with it just from an RPG fan. So everything's fixed, and it has more charm being in those old style graphics. Because if you're going to make a game that doesn't do anything totally new, then just showing me the aesthetic of the past, I don't know, it just gave me more to love, and it was easier to get into its basic story and the basic characters. Know what I mean? Does this make sense?
Yeah, no, it does.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear, though, they went back to the old kind of style graphics. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, you can switch between them. So,
Cool.
you can either choose the New Age one or the Super Nintendo graphics. So, yeah, I'm still going to wait till I get it on a sale. I did get to play this for an hour or two, and it just, because I got to play it more last year for the podcast, I sort of more or less replayed different sections in the old retro style of it, and I don't know, it just appealed to me more.
Right.
And it got really good reviews too.
Cool. And then we had Iceborne for the Monster Hunter World DLC.
Yeah, it's really big. So
You don't say.
Yeah,
it's also very pretty.
It's basically a new. It's basically a Monster Hunter World sequel, but you have to have played the first one first. What disappointed me in this Iceborne DLC is it's a good chunk, a lot of the same monsters from Monster Hunter World, just in Ice Phase. So the behavioral patterns aren't that much different. At least I didn't find them to be. Like, one might be just more aggressive than its predecessor in the other world. There were some cool new monsters. A big franchise beloved one came back, so they put them in. So at least this is a really good DLC. It's very much worth it if you want more Monster Hunter World to play.
It's also very, very, very pretty.
It's beautiful.
Indeed. There's a reason last year that it won a lot of categories for the Game of the Year.
It won our Game of the Year, Jay.
It sure did.
Yep.
It sure did. But if there's nothing else to add to this month's honorable mentions, let's get on with the main games.
Whew, okay.
Where would you like to start?
Let's get Demon X Machina out of the way, because I didn't like that game very much.
Well, you can take us through this one.
So Demon X Machina, it's a mech shooter. It's oh boy. So it has a lot of frame rate issues. Its story and quests are incredibly repetitive. Its gameplay is also repetitive. Like, everything. So the game doesn't play well, and everything, you get entirely bored with what you're playing within a couple of hours, which is pretty unacceptable in my opinion. What is your opinion on games that make you do the same thing, or it feels like you're doing the same thing over and over and over again without introducing either new mechanics or interesting story elements, or you get where I'm going here?
I get very bored and usually drop them.
Yeah, and that's what Demon X Machina is, and the host of gameplay issues just isn't worth it.
You know,
it's such a shame.
I completely understand what you're saying. That's a shame, because like the game looked like it was going to be good when it was coming out.
It definitely had my attention. I'm always up for a good mech game, good robot game, if you will.
Yeah.
But this just doesn't feel finished. The characters in the game are extremely generic anime. Like, there's nothing to them. There's no development at all. There should be some development, at least at the beginning of a story, for you to feel sympathy for a character, see a change. There's none of that. It's just very by the book. Plus the technical issues. I can't stress that enough.
Well, that's a shame. The game had potential. It's always sucky when you see something that you're looking forward to just fall flat on its face. Gears 5.
Yeah, it's clearly rushed.
Alrighty, so from here, how would you like to talk about Blasphemous?
Blasphemous. This game is hard as shit, but it's a lot of fun.
Well, dude, it looks like it's a Metroidvania game.
It pretty much is in that style, Metroidvania. Backtracking. It's got the difficulty levels of a Dark Souls game. It has the same element where if you die, you can go pick up your corpse kind of situation.
Yeah, I've been watching some people play through it. It looks like it's a lot of fun.
It is entertaining, that's for sure. The story is, everything is very, I forget the term, but everyone's like sad and depressed all the time. You know,
sounds like Dark Souls.
Life isn't worth it kind of situation.
Praise the sun, y'all.
It's extremely gory too.
Yeah, that was the thing I was going to bring up. Like when he's simply attacking people, there's spurts of blood and crap that gets piss out. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, let me pull up the Metacritic, because it only has a 76 on Metacritic. And
I think it's got a 7 on IGN.
Yeah, it's usually a low score, in which I usually don't like games that get below an 80. It's very rare if it gets lower than that 80 score, and I'll like it. But I like Blasphemous. It's got your pixel art. It reminds me a lot of Hollow Knight, but it's got the Super Nintendo pixel art to it.
It does, which is always a plus.
Yeah. It's I'm looking for that term.
It's like Celeste when that came out last year. Like, it looked like a Super Nintendo game, but it was a really pretty looking Super Nintendo game.
The backtracking in Blasphemous after a little while does get a little tedious. You know, that's what leads it into kind of feeling... I could see why this would... Just that alone would get it into a lower score. Because if you play Hollow Knight, for example, that's a Metroidvania game. You are constantly getting new mechanics, and that allows... I don't know, the mechanics feel more fun to get to the other areas. In Blasphemous, these new things that you get, it doesn't get that satisfying when you get to the new areas. You're still just going through the whole dodging and parrying mechanic that's in this game, which is... The parrying mechanic is quite hard. At least I found it. I've never been good at any parrying mechanic at all in any game. That's what made Sekiro so difficult for me.
Or is it just the fact you're not good at the Souls-like games?
No, I've beaten Dark Souls 1 and 3. And Bloodborne.
Where's 2, JD?
I didn't feel like playing 2. I didn't like it very much.
We don't talk about 2. It's not a true Dark Souls game. It has issues.
There's no leveling system in Blasphemous. There's just a skill tree, which I found a little odd and weird. So instead of upgrading your characters so you can get through areas easier, you just get more skills.
But in those skills, does that like unlock more moves and items and crap to kill things quicker?
Yes and no. Like, it depends how good you are at these new skills you're unlocking. So let's say you can't get the hang of the parry skill, like I couldn't. There's a dash and jab, dash jab skill that's much easier to hit, but you're more susceptible to the enemy's attacks. So you really have to find a mechanic or two that you are certainly good at, and that can get you to the game, get you through the game much easier. What I found interesting is the bosses are super difficult, but the standard enemies you face don't scale. So you do get your skill tree upgrades, and when you get your couple mechanics down pat, or there's a couple mechanics that you'll unlock that kind of breaks the game a little bit. That's the dash jab that I found. You go through your standard enemies much easier as the game goes on, and the bosses stay stupid hard from start to finish.
Do you just poke them in the butt?
Yeah, get behind them, poke in the butt. Dodge, get behind him again, poke him in the butt. Like it just that's where the game kind of fails in certain aspects for me.
Hmm. I mean,
Yeah.
it does look like a lot of fun, like from what I've seen of people playing it.
Yeah, it's just a lot of things feel inconvenient and tedious.
Hmm.
I do wish there was a leveling system, that way the game just didn't feel like there was no scale to it.
Do you
As
think
you get
it'd
through the game, usually things get ramped up or harder, and this game just never has that.
do you think it would be better if there was less backtracking?
Yes, absolutely.
Hmm.
Kind of make it a Odin Sphere Life Riser situation, where you go left to right, and when you go left to right, you advance to different areas, and then you have enemies that are scaled better, or at
That
all in this case.
I get you. I get you. 100%. I understand what you're getting at. So, my dude, where would you like to go from here?
Let's see. There is, you know what? There was an interesting game called the Somnium Files.
So, I didn't get time to look at
AI?
this one.
Is it Al or AI? Never did figure that out. I think it's AI.
It's like Low Shirai from WWE.
Low Shirai.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah, it's AI, the Somnium Files. I've just been calling it the Somnium Files the whole time.
Did you hear about the Low Shirai situation?
Yeah, I did.
So good. So
It's
good.
dumb. So this is another game I was pleasantly surprised with. It has that high 70s Metacritic score. It is an anime detective game by Spike Chunsoft.
I already have
developer that...
called Judgment.
Excuse me? Excuse me, Day?
I was just
Did you
saying I
change
already
it?
have one of those. It's called Judgment.
Well, I mean, that's Yakuza Detective.
Fine.
This one's super anime, though. Everything is anime about it. It's so you play as Detective Kaname Date on the case of an elusive serial killer in a thrilling sci-fi murder mystery. And if I talk about the story in any way, it's going to spoil every little bit of it, and that's pretty much what makes the game fun, is the direction and how the flow of the story goes about it. If you're a fan of the Zero Escape series, I would say this game is for you. Or the Danganronpa. Those kind of games.
So it's very text heavy then.
Yes. Text and cutscene heavy.
I don't mind Danganronpa until I stuff up and get everyone killed. Let's start again.
You should kill everybody. They all deserve to die.
In their own ways, yes. Yes, they do.
Yeah. I quite enjoyed the story. It was simplistic enough, but it was definitely much more interesting than I was expecting. I'm trying to look up what other people didn't like about the game, so bear with me here. See if I agree with them. It's been a while since I played this one. So, let's see here. Amazing story. Too many sex jokes. Well, I mean, that's anime, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whoa, this guy has a freaking novel. Wrote about this. If they had just made the time limit something unrelated to the gameplay, you could have explored the Somnium and figure out the solution, explore everything. Oh, yeah. So that was a big issue. I find myself repeating sections because the time limit would just go away and you wouldn't be able to solve the puzzles in time. I found that very strange.
Like gameplay wise though, does it make sense to have the time limit for certain things?
Yeah, there's only like a 5 or 7 minute time limit for all these sections. I get what they were doing. It was to create a stressful situation. You have this time limit. But if you have a mystery game, the whole point of a mystery game is enjoying solving the mystery, right?
Yeah. But at the same time, if you take like more than an hour to solve one mystery, the serial killer's gone.
Yeah. I don't know why they decided to make this crucial gameplay mechanic.
Is there a way in the settings to turn it off?
What sucks is when you go to interact with another character, the time doesn't stop either.
That's kind of dumb.
So I found myself like reading as fast as I could, and I wasn't able to say write stuff down to try and remember. Everything consumes time. I didn't like that at all.
Is there a way in like the settings or something, or maybe the difficulty of the game to turn that down or off?
Not that I'm aware of.
That seems like a missed opportunity.
Yeah. I think that time limit's probably its worst aspect. I think if you could enjoy the story much more, it would have probably gotten a higher score. Surely.
Fair enough.
But it's definitely, I think, a game that's going under the radar, especially in the month of September. Yeah, you can get it on the PS4 or Switch, I believe.
Microsoft misses out.
Yeah.
So, dude, would you like to talk about another game that was clearly missed throughout the month of September in Trust, Follow, and Obey?
You want to talk about Borderlands 3 now?
Yeah.
Sure, go for it.
Now, tell me if this sounds familiar. You start the game, you pick a vault hunter, you find a vault, and the game finishes.
Well, in Borderlands 3, there's multiple vaults.
But you still find a vault at the end of the game.
Yes.
And it still has very pretty cel-shaded graphics and a plethora of guns to kill things.
Yes.
It's a Borderlands game.
But this Borderlands game has the Calypso twins.
Yeah, Trust, Follow, Obey.
Like Follow and Obey.
Ah, sorry, I stuffed that up. My bad.
I mean, I can trust and follow you, but I won't obey.
Without like and follow.
That's the biggest complaint about the game. Or at least it's 50-50, where the Calypso twins are like these pseudo YouTubers that make fun of, I guess, people on YouTube or Twitch or something. And that they're your main villains. Buddy Console Kev over from the Retro Gaming Podcast, he's obsessed with Borderlands 3. He absolutely loves it. He loves the Borderlands franchise. So if you want to see what a fanboy thinks of Borderlands 3, definitely go check it out. I couldn't get into Borderlands 3 a lot because I've been playing Borderlands 2 in PSVR.
That sounds likely to be very interesting.
Yeah, so when I'm playing Borderlands 3, I go, this game would be better if it was in VR.
I've been playing Borderlands, a pre-sequel with Shannon, to lead us into playing Borderlands 3, and unfortunately we didn't get as much time to play Borderlands 3 as we would have liked. But, dude, Claptrap is like the best character, and I refuse to hear anyone talk about him blasphemy-wise, because Claptrap is the best, and it's a shame they replaced his voice actor.
Is that a big deal?
Kind of.
Bummer.
Indeed.
Bummer for you.
Indeed.
I'm not a huge Borderlands franchise. I just find the gameplay gets kind of repetitive for me. If I'm going to play a first or third person shooter, either the story needs to be good or the gameplay needs to change up environments a lot. You know?
You see, I can't play through Borderlands by myself, and I always look at Borderlands as a game that I need to play in co-op. It's not the fact that it's boring or it's bad or anything. It's just I look at it as a co-op game. I'm not sure.
Hey, at least Borderlands 3, Calypso Twins, and the co-op didn't do the shit Wolfenstein did. Youngblood. Boy, we torched that game in July.
Yeah. But like, I'm curious. Like, do you look at Borderlands as a co-op game, or is that just me?
No, I mean, Borderlands 2, I think, was good enough where you could play it by yourself. The first game,
was a very good proof of concept, like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. Now, Borderlands 3, yeah, I think I could agree with you that because it's still much of the same, it relies heavily on that co-op.
Yeah.
But look, if you're into Borderlands and you want a new Borderlands game, hell yeah, get this game. There's nothing wrong with it, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's a Borderlands game. If you like Borderlands, then go play Borderlands.
Yeah.
There's not much more we can say about it.
Not really. It's a lot of the same.
Yeah, good. I like it.
An interesting game I really got to talk about is Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Yeah. Alrighty.
So it came out on the Switch, and it really reminds me of a game that would come out on, say, mobile or your iPad or something along those lines. It's a rhythm action game.
With motorcycles.
Yes, with motorcycles. And it's quite addicting. It's very pretty. The art style is all there. It knows exactly what it wants to be and how it wants you to play. You know, match these at the right times. It's your rhythm game, and there's nothing wrong with it. I probably should have put this game in the to mention section, but hey, we're here.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah. Have you seen gameplay or anything on this at all?
I have. You go down a road collecting love hearts and making rhythms.
Yeah, pretty much.
What do you want from me? That's pretty much it. I know that's not a very good way of describing it, but I mean, it's pretty.
Yeah. It's really short, though. I was able to complete this game in not very much time. Like, at all.
Rhythm games usually tend to be that way.
Well, I mean, I have Hatsune Miku on my Vita, and that took a while to beat.
Are you good at it, though?
I'd say I'm acceptable.
Did you ever play the, like, going back many, many years, not quite retro, but still kind of modern, the K-On! Rhythm games?
No.
Dude, they were very fun because K-On! Is good, and I don't care what you say, K-On! Is good.
So you can probably beat Sayonara Wild Hearts in a few hours if you want to do a lot of the extra stuff.
See, as a rhythm game, though, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What did you think of the music?
Oh, I was into it, and that's a big plus to it.
Yeah, I was too. It's very catchy. It's very, very catchy.
Yeah. I mean, it's very stylish. I don't think it's worth the price right now because of its length. This is a rare case where I would say, if you're gonna spend $20 for like a 2-hour experience, I can't agree with that. If it was half that, I would say, hell yeah, pick this thing up. So that's where I stand.
Fair enough. No, I 100% get it. If it's a little bit too short, it should be cheaper.
Okay. So I'm gonna put these two games into one category, and it's Code Vein and Surge 2.
Okay.
All right.
Code Vein has very pretty cutscenes.
Code Vein is anime Dark Souls. Surge 2 is robot Dark Souls. So we have Blasphemous, which is Metroidvania Dark Souls. We have Code Vein anime Dark Souls, and Surge 2 robot Dark Souls. So what kind of Dark Souls games do you want that's not Dark Souls?
Pirate Dark Souls.
So I played about 2 hours of Code Vein, and around the 2-hour mark is when I finally started getting into it. It has a slow start. It has probably one of the best character creator things in gaming right now. It's incredibly detailed. There's nothing that costs you microtransactions. Everything you collect in the game can go on your character, and it gives you little boosts and upgrades, just like Dark Souls. And the difference between Code Vein and Surge 2 is that start. Surge 2 has a fast start. Code Vein does not. They both have a very good building mechanic to your character and how you progress through the game. Now, Jay, did you play Surge 1? The first Surge?
I did not.
So it was a repetitive, technical garbage fest. Okay?
Okay.
When the initial reviews of Surge 2 came out, it looked like it was going to be more of the same. However, I got to play this, and I was very much addicted to it. This was the probably third most played game on the list of September for me, actually. I was so surprised.
That is surprising knowing you.
Yeah. because I have to allocate my time quite specifically. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do this podcast the way I do.
Well, it's just because you play way too many games and don't finish any of them.
I finished some of them.
Okay.
Some.
Have you beaten Yakuza yet?
No. Shut up. So Surge 2, if you want a robot customization game in the realm of Dark Souls that actually functions this time, Surge 2 is awesome. The enemies vary well enough. You can target limbs and take their parts, and you can do they're like mercy kills, but yeah, mercy kills. So let's say, hey, that guy's got a cool weapon on his left arm. You can target the left arm, go up to him, rip it off, and then now you have his left arm. You can attach that to you.
That's pretty cool. I wish more games did that.
Awesome. Yeah. And Surge 2 does it really well. It's very satisfying. So there are points where you have to grind, or maybe you want a collection of parts to make a better part. You just find those enemies and rip them apart to get the pieces you need. It's quite brutal. I love it. It's a very addicting gameplay loop that's incredibly satisfying. I was not expecting this to be a thing.
Cool. Because yeah, like I wish more games did that. Like, it's one of the things that kind of piss me off when you're playing like a Final Fantasy or something. It's like, hey, cool, that guy's got a really nice sword and he's dead. Can I get the sword? No. All right, middle finger to you.
Yeah, I wish I had the thief option, and then I got another magic.
Or yeah, the only kind of thing you get like that's the blue mage or the vampire class who can just kind of steal monster attacks.
Yeah, their abilities.
Yeah.
If you're into the whole blue mage thing,
which I'm not.
So I actually not highly recommend Surge 2, but I do recommend it. And if you're, I'll tell you what, Jay, when this game goes on sale, much like I've been waiting for Days Gone to go on sale, those two are top my list for sale buys.
I might have to add
hands down
Surge 2 to the top of my list then too.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I am into robots. I am into destroying robots. I am into Dark Souls. It finally nailed it. I am this Kevin from the Retrocast. He brings up an interesting topic where if you play the first game in the series and it's bad or you don't like it, does that ruin your viewpoint to even try the sequel? And more often than not, people will say, yeah, I'm not going to play the sequel because the first one was bad, right? Watch Dogs is a great example of that.
Watch Dogs 1 was a proof of concept. Well, it wasn't.
Watch Dogs 1 was like barely okay.
It was,
but it got really repetitive.
It was pretty awful.
Yeah. And then Watch Dogs 2
was a very
awesome,
good game.
But no one bought it.
Indeed, Borderlands 1 was kind of bad. Borderlands 2 was great.
Well, Borderlands had everything right to make people interested, and then they refined everything, and then that sold like hotcakes, much like in the realm of Assassin's Creed. I love the first Assassin's Creed.
It's very repetitive, though. Like, go here, listen to this conversation, stab this dude, assassinate the bad guy.
But at the time, it was good, right? Does it hold up to the others? No. Because what they were able to improve upon was good enough to get you to go, wow, this series is awesome now. The Surge was a piece of shit. And the Surge 2, I am saying this, that it's worth it. Maybe not $60, but if it was $40, I'd go out and buy it today.
So, because of Australian currencies, would you say it's worth $100?
No, not even close.
Nice.
For Australian currency, I'd wait till it's $60.
Well, that's just kind of defeats the purpose of what you were saying, but sure.
Well, for us self-entitled Americans, no game should be above $60. So pay $40. Australians, you guys got to pay more because it sucks.
Yeah, well, it's because that currency's friggin' weak.
Yeah. So I really liked Surge 2. Code Vein, I wanted to like more. I really did. I was worried about this game from day one because as soon as they announced it was delayed, and then it was just coming out of nowhere. No one was talking about it. It's fine, but the 2 hours that it took to get going, and the environments are so bland.
It looks pretty.
The characters look pretty. The environments... Okay, so when you play, let's say, Dark Souls 3 or Bloodborne, each time you come to a new area, it shows you what the area is, and you go, oh, this is going to be an awesome area, new enemies and all that. Code Vein doesn't do any of that. It's just, everything looks the same, everything's bland and gray. Cutscenes
are pretty.
It's definitely more story-focused in those cutscenes, which, that's fine. But the gameplay itself is okay. You get a partner that constantly won't shut up. It's quite annoying. This was one of those games where I just found myself muting it and listening to a podcast.
I don't understand how you can do that. Like, I know you've said that to me in the past, but I don't get it. Even if a game's like got a crappy story or like annoying characters, I still need to listen to what's going on.
Yeah, you put subtitles on and read.
Yeah, but that implies that I can read.
You don't know how to read, Jay?
What if I'm illiterate, JD?
I'm sorry, but you should learn to read.
If I was illiterate, I wouldn't be able to watch subbed anime, let's be honest here.
Yeah. Well, maybe you just listen and you learn that way.
Yeah, that's why I'm fluent in half Japanese.
Oh, sure. Half Japanese.
I
know half of word. I know half of each word.
I can't say a single sentence.
Yeah.
But I can recognize words.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's spooky month, so that's I'm really hoping Days Gone and RE2 HD Remake go on sale this month at some point. Otherwise, I might just have to wait till Black Friday, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that makes sense for those two games to go on sale, wouldn't it?
Yeah, for spooky month. And they've been out a while, so I'm hoping they get like half off.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to you playing Days Gone, like fully. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, I played a good chunk of it.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to spend $60 for it.
No, I can't blame you for that regard. I quite liked it, though. It picks up. And then there's a part where you think it's over, and boom, it's not over, and it kind of drags from there, but it's still pretty good.
Well, maybe since so much time has passed, they fixed a lot of the technical issues that I had issues with.
Time will tell. Hashtag spooky month.
Spooky month. All right. So right now we're going to cut to you and Shannon talking Gears 5. And when we come back, you and I will give some thoughts. Mostly me, because you and Shannon had a lot to talk about. And then we can go from there.
Okie dokie. Hello, welcome back to a special segment this month of the Red Leaf Retrocast Modern Gaming Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jay Silver, and I'm not joined by JD for this segment. I'm joined by my friend Shannon from the What's Up With podcast.
Hey everyone.
How's it going?
Yeah, same old, same old.
So my dude, you play games, I play games. We've been playing a lot of games recently. But just so that people can understand what games you play, what games do you play and consoles do you own, so forth and so on?
Well, we'll start with consoles. I've got an original Xbox, then an Xbox 360, Xbox One, got a PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. I've got a couple of Segas. Yeah, I've got just a lot of consoles.
I didn't know you had a Sega. I want a Sega. Yeah. Give me a Sega.
I've got about 3 or 4 of them. I've just got to get them back out of storage.
You son of a bitch. I didn't know that when you were here, when I was helping you go through your storage. If I had known that, I would have actually been paying more attention. It's like, where's the Sega? Where's the Sega? How good.
Probably 10 games on that one, but yeah, not many.
How many of those are Sonic?
3.
Give them to Alistair.
That's the plan.
Even before he was there, I probably would have had a little chance of getting that Sega.
But yeah, for the most part, at the moment, we've been playing Gears. I do play 7 Days to Die, Subnautica, Horizon Zero Dawn, which is like heaps good to fun to play with. I do play some COD, but some people hate that. I just like to play some Halo. I just play some really random games like Crash Bandicoot, then I go into Metal Gear Solids.
So you're a bit of jack of all trades, master of none.
Pretty much. I love gaming in all aspects, and it doesn't stick to any one console because, like, every console has its perks, and in saying that, every console has its downers. So
Right. Yeah, no, I get that. So, you and I have known each other for years, and I thought stuff at, hey, earlier this year, let's play through the Gears series to get ready for Gears 5, right?
correct.
Now, for the most part, I've enjoyed this playthrough. I don't know whether you have, but I've really enjoyed myself because, as you know, the people may not know, but Gears is one of my favourite game series of all time.
Oh, I know this.
What?
People ask you about things on it, and then you go on tangents for 20 minutes. I'm like, yep.
Oh, I do. I do, because Gears is great. What other gun do I get? What other game do I get a chainsaw gun in?
Yeah, none.
I mean, you get a chainsaw sword, I'm pretty sure, in Space Marine, but that's not the same.
Yeah, no one there.
But anyway, so as I said, we've played through all the games leading up to this. What, in your opinion, was the best one we played through? Not because of how much I remember or how good I was at those games, or like how much fun we had, but like what, in your opinion, story-wise, gameplay-wise, has been the best one we've done?
Gameplay-wise, I would have to say Judgment.
Judgment, that's interesting. Why Judgment?
Just the gameplay, the feel of it was very open, especially with the strategy about how you can move your character. I felt very free to move a lot easier.
It's a lot more forgiving than the other games. It's kind of annoying, though, that you can only
Yes.
carry 2 weapons and you got to use the
Agreed.
bumper for your grenades.
Agreed, but in saying that, it kind of gives you that aspect of the very diverse culture of here's just a game that anyone can play.
Yeah. Also, it takes place before the other games, like about 10 or so years, so it kind of makes sense for it to be a bit different.
Yeah. But story-wise, so far, I would have to say number 3 or number 2. Like, it's between them two. Like, the storyline between is just really intense. It's got its beautiful and courageous moments, and then a very upsetting moment in number 2 there. That
Dom's
just sort
wife?
of, yeah. And then that whole scene of number 3 where everything gets and you're finding out what's getting.
Sorry,
It's
you're,
kind of
you're cutting out a bit. Everything gets what, sorry?
everything in number 3 gets a little bit janky where you find out what's going to happen and you find out
with
how big the horde is.
The whole Lambent crisis and all that.
Yeah, that kind of just gets a bit surreal.
Yeah. See, my favourite
but-
Gears game is Gears 2. I think it improves on everything that Gears 1 did, and I just find it's been more fun than Gears 3. It has more memorable moments in Gears 3.
Yeah, like Gears 1, at its time was probably top leading edge of gaming, but it's even on the easiest platform of itself is a complicated game.
Yeah, well, at the time, there wasn't very many cover-based shooters.
Yeah, but the third person run around and having that whole camera angle that just shifts on its own at times, it was just the brutality behind it. It's like, so dude, I'm trying to look over here, and the camera's just like not as forgiving.
I'm happy
But
that you use the word there, brutality, because I want to touch on that soon too. But the thing with Gears 1 through 3 and Judgment to an extent, because you couldn't do this in 4, was the whole, once you get the hang of the game, dude, like, you're damn near unstoppable with that shotgun.
Hell yeah.
You got your
Then
freight train
NASA
abilities, like,
becomes-
wee, here I come.
Not just that, just the whole stomach shot. Oh, you're dead? Oh.
Look, it's dude soup. Crunchy. It's just like a bloody milkshake, only crunchy.
Exactly.
But then with 4, like, of course, 4's kind of like, 4's a soft reboot, let's be honest here. Like, it goes through, you do meet Marcus and a few of the other characters from the other games, but for the most part, you're playing through as a new cast of characters and discovering what this new threat is, which just, it's the Locust. It's essentially mutated versions of the Locust.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then Gears
But-
5, okay, go ahead.
I have to say, in number 4, the interesting factor of it is when you get to find out that you're playing as Marcus' son, spoiler alert for people who haven't played it yet, the whole part of you playing as his son, you do see attributes of the whole father-to-son relationship there.
Yeah.
Even can kind of see that. Then we get to number 5. And I'm going to let you go on your tangent right here, right now.
Oh
'cause-
boy, I have problems with this game. I really do, but I want to hear what you think of it first, because at this point we're about halfway through Act 3, which is the Red Sandy Desert area. We've just located some Hammer of Dawn satellites from the UIR, and we got to meet our old friend Paddock, who is freaking great.
Completely. Yes.
How good's Paddock?
He's funny.
But, you know, I'm just curious, like, what you've thought of Gears 5 so far.
If you are,
What was that?
if you are not strong enough, if you are not smart enough,
I will kill you. I am Paddock. I've come to assassinate your leader because the cog is full of scum.
no, there's not so much kill code.
No, not so much.
Good to know.
I won't kill Bad. Bad and call up my friend. I don't know what happened to the red-headed bitch from Judgment, but I'm sure she's still around. Whatever happened to her? Maybe she's dead. She probably died in childbirth like Anya.
Probably. Well, they were mutating their own kids, my dude, so...
Yeah, because, you know, the cog... I mean, that's probably Bad's fault, but Bad's a genius. Let's scientifically make children.
So their best pickup line in that game was, "You want to grind my gears?"
Me too. You know what really grinds my gears? You. But, yeah, so what do you think of Gears 5 so far?
Honestly, it's nowhere near the same. Like, it's fun to play, because, like, we're finishing a story and a campaign in that aspect. But
I think this is a middle ground. I don't think this is going to finish a story. I don't think that come the end of this game, we're going to, spoiler alert, deal with Reyna.
saying that whole moment where it doesn't feel like it Gears anymore. It's just become more of a mainstream type of gaming, but that's more of the storyline / feel of it.
It's the feel of it that's bothering me more than anything, because, like, in the other Gears games, things feel responsive and more aggressive, whereas in this, I feel like I'm using a friggin' BB gun. Like, the Lancer doesn't have the same feel as the Lancer used to, for an example.
Yes. It doesn't get used to. And the gas-powered Lancer with the friggin'...
The grenade launcher, which is, by the way, counterintuitive to what a Lancer should be, just throwing that out there, because a Lancer as a gun is something with a bayonet on the end of it. I get it, it's a grenade launcher bayonet, but you can't use a freaking grenade launcher in melee combat.
Oh, dude, the special kill for that one, like, you know, the...
Yeah, I saw that earlier. You, like, shove it in them and then explode a grenade.
Yeah, and then they take off, like, a little, I don't know if you ever played Just Cause, but same thing with the cat. Same thing.
Just Cause is so good, but, you know, just, first of all, if I have no ammo for the grenade launcher, is that going to work? Second of all, if it does, where does the new grenade come from?
It's improvised.
It's improvised as well. But yeah, like, as I was saying though, like, as a Lancer, that to me isn't a Lancer. It's a rifle with a machine gun, which feels like it's taking elements from, like, COD and Battlefield. Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, the grenade launcher isn't really a mortar.
Yeah, well, that's why you like it so much, because you like the freaking mortars from the other games. Which, by the way, I just want to throw this out there as well. In multiplayer, dude, those weapons as the freaking mortar are a pain in the ass and they're for weak players. AKA you.
I can get them pretty accurate, and you watch me decimate field upon field because, like, it was just easier than me shooting.
Yeah, well, you give me the sniper and you get the same result.
Only if you got no ammo. So
only if I can carry more than 16 rounds ammo, because, you know, Gears 5, stupid friggin' ammo limitations. But, yeah, like, that's the thing, though, because, like, as I was saying, the Lancer doesn't feel like the Lancer anymore. The Gnasher, it doesn't feel like the Gnasher anymore.
The Gnasher got nerfed in 4.
Yeah, but, like, in Horde mode, the Gnasher works properly.
Yeah, but even in 5, the Gnasher is still an obsolete weapon in this aspect now.
It works in Horde mode.
Yeah, that's the only mode it works anyway.
I'm still used to carrying a Gnasher, and that's why I haven't gotten rid of it. It's sentimental at this point. Just like the Boltok. The Boltok doesn't work properly either.
Yeah, I noticed that. My headshot count was way down.
Yeah, so is mine. I don't like the whole new targeting systems either. They've made them overly complicated. What's wrong with just the circle that we used to have?
Just give me something to aim with, and we're good. Damn.
Well, we still have something to aim with. It's just the guns aren't as strong as they used to be. I guess that's supposed to make it feel like the Swarm is winning.
Either way, it sucks.
It's not that it sucks. It's a good game. It's just not a good Gears game. That's my big issue with it. Because...
No, I mean, like...
Go ahead.
I meant the way...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but, like...
The game... It's a good game, it's just... It's not that great.
It's a good game, it's just not a good Gears game.
Mm.
Like, as I said, we played through the other 5 before this. Yes, we're counting Judgment. But those, like even 4, it felt like a Gears game. This feels like it's trying to be something that Gears is not.
Correct. But now, the one aspect that I can bring up that you guys can't is I've been playing as Jax.
Yeah, okay, so what's the whole Jax system like there? Because you found out you could play as the robot, you're like, I'm in.
100%, why not play as a robot? Pretty much, Jax on his own is absolutely useless. He's got all these abilities and side abilities now that you can command and control, which is pretty much click, point, shoot, and there he goes. The problem is, a failure for him to do it is about 80%. When we're running him, you got a 90% chance of survival. No matter the like when we versed that in the snow, that was just absolutely hilarious. I was literally running around going zap 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 zap.
What the freak was that thing that we just killed recently before we hit the I was like today we flash froze him and then I was on the turret and we just ripped him apart. And like last time we killed one of those things, like this is killing us and it's taking forever.
Mm-hmm.
That friggin' Matriarch Berserker as well. It's like, that thing has eyeballs. No way, it's still blind. Never mind.
Yeah, but that whole abilities... So some of the abilities, you select, go into like your menu, and it gives you your abilities and listings. You go into them individually to upgrade the abilities, or you can go into Jack's ability of just his basic movement, storage, energy, or commitment to the team itself, and you can upgrade them individually.
So, like, you know how Jack has his dongle and he puts it inside of walls?
Yeah.
Which, I'm just going to say right now, we're not going to say what we usually say. We're actually censoring ourselves a little bit compared to what we'd usually be doing playing Gears.
Understatement.
But, is there a way to make that go faster as an upgrade, or is it just like that standard speed?
That is standard speed. Once I interact with anything, it takes on...
Do you have like a mini game or something to play while you're doing that, or does it just do it automatically?
It does it automatically, and when it goes to do it on my screen, it does it like at a higher speed.
Would you think that it's would be better if it was like a mini game, or do you think that that would take away from being Jack?
I reckon it would add to being Jack, to be honest. That would be like a sort of side quest to being Jack.
It's like, you know, in like in Skyrim or Fallout or something, like, you know, like when you're trying to pick a lock or something, how you got to like rotate the lock to the sweet spot and then boom, you can get in. Do you think something like that would work as like for the Jack system for certain locks?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Or like when you're trying to...
sense.
Yeah, or like when you're trying to rip apart like one of the doors to go through, like when you got to cut down through it, like maybe, I don't know,
Nowadays, I literally, as Jack, poop nugget against the wall and watch it cut. I'm like, it's taken away from what Jack used to be. But at the same time, it's sort of adding that element of, look, I just have to protect my drone.
Dude, Jack's his own character in this game, whereas in the other ones, he was a means to an end to get through a door.
Yeah.
Jack in this game is like so good. He's almost like sentient because of like the little friggin' things they've gotten him to do.
Yeah, well, some of his abilities are crazy as well. Like one cloak, being able to cloak the entire team,
which is very helpful for stealth when I can walk up behind something and like stab it in the face.
Yeah, you literally use like this little tiny knife and rip off a locust's head, like sorry, swarm.
It's a horde, it's a swarm, same thing.
It's a pain in the butt, just kill it.
They all look the same. Look, it's primal locust.
He's got a wooden spoon.
He comes out with a rock on a stick. I'm primal locust. You die now.
You look exactly like him. Shut up. He's older than me.
Which, to be fair, like, some of them were carrying pipes around, so it kind of works.
Yeah, that's it. But, his flash freeze is also a flash bang, until you get the freezing ability, but in saying that, you can upgrade the flash freeze and upgrade the flash, so you can actually increase the range of, the explosion. The moment, I believe I can do about a, 20-meter radius type thing.
Do they have to be looking at you, though, or not?
I have to be looking at them.
Yeah, so it doesn't go behind you as well.
It does go behind me, but I have to be able to, like, get them to interact with me for a moment. So it's only a very brief moment, and I've got to do, like, a half spin to get them all. And that's why, in that last section, I got, like, 4 or 5 people all at once.
And then I just come over and knife him to death.
Yeah. I flew into the first, and then I've just gone, bang!
Dude, how good was that?
Freeze everything.
Everything has been going so wrong up to that point, and then it's just worked perfectly.
Yeah, I just come along doing that, and then I just watch you walk past and smack!
So when we're on the skiff, what does Jack do on the skiff? Or does Jack just watch me crash the
Absolutely
skiff?
nothing.
So Jack just watches me crash the skiff.
So 90% of the time, that's the perfect time for me to do any of the following the maps directly.
Play with your upgrades after we find components and new pieces.
Yep.
Yep.
So far, from what I can see, be enough components to probably get all the upgrades by the looks of things, because it's the select which is with.
I think there's 108 in total, and we've got like 70 of them.
Oof.
Yeah, well, we've just been finding them everywhere because they're common, but I'd say we missed 1 or 2, maybe 10.
Yeah, but me and you are trying to canvas everything that we can as well as we go through.
Yeah, it's because, unfortunately, I don't want to come back and play this game again for a while, because it's pissing me off because it's not a Gears game.
I think the best part I'm having fun with is ammo boxing.
It's pretty cool that like Jack can grab stuff on the field and bring it over to it. It's like, hey, I'm out of ammo. Oh, cool. Here's a box from like over that ledge.
Only Jack can.
When you're like flying around, do you have to stay at a certain level, or can you like fly up really high?
No, it does all the altitude adjustments and all that on its own, which is kind of annoying because think about you got a mini jet. I should be able to run or move faster than you.
You're just going to go up into the sky. It's like, you deal with the enemies, I'm not helping. So, like, you know those electricity friggin' taser thingies you've got? Is that just like Jack's standard attack?
His standard attack is just a little taser, but so at first it was only just blinding me.
And it's like, it tickles.
Yeah, well, it's got a buff bar of, you know how with the Nashes and that you had that overheat bar.
It's not the Nasher, but yeah, with the Troikas, you mean? The Troikas and the Mulcher and the Trashot. Yeah.
Sure. I know the ones.
Yeah, the Troika, the Mulcher, and the Trashot.
Yeah. Pretty much you got like an overheat bar for this as well. The best and worst part about it is, at first you are weak. You pretty much can't do nothing except for stun them and wait first. Friend, come help, friend.
Is Jack weak? Like, could he take damage?
Taking like multiple blows from the boom shot.
Oh, friggin' don't get me started on them and drop shots, because they just kill me.
I took a drop shot and off, and that mother was that we versed?
The matriarch.
The matriarch thing. She landed a good hit into me, and like I managed to like not die, but
it's me and I just disintegrate. I'm dead now.
I was at the critical point though. It was pretty much saying if I took any sort of damage in the next 10 seconds, I was dying, and I was like, oh god.
Is Jack's health bar as annoying as the other players? Because I don't like the new health system.
It's worse. You can't You know how the other one sort of encroaches?
Yeah, and then like all of a sudden you've just got that tiny ass circle in the middle you can see through normally, which by the way is not how a health bar works. It should be the old Omen thing.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
I was really hoping
that
there was a way to swap it over. At least like it gives you a rough direction, like in Halo is the direction you have bullets are getting shot at you from, but it's a pain in the freaking ass.
Yeah. But pretty much it encroaches, but it's sort of like a very, very light pink, and then it just goes red, and then you're dead.
I'm exploding now.
Pretty much. It's like, you've been hit. Where did I get hit from? Boom. Why am I dying?
That's the thing too with friggin' Cade, because like in Gears 4 and all that, I felt like I could take damage, whereas in this like 2 or 3 shots and I'm dead. Oh look, I'm bleeding out now. And then the bleed out time, it just goes down rapidly for some reason.
Yes. Like, even...
Look, we need to wrap this up because JD will yell at me for having this go too long. As a Gears game, I don't like this. It's the worst Gears game in my opinion that I've played, and I've played all of them. I love all of them. I don't love this game. But it's a solid game for what it is. It's just not a Gears game.
Yep.
Anything else you want to touch on with Jack?
Just out of it, if you're not using him as a character, don't use him with the AI stuff. It's pretty much useless.
All the characters that aren't being played as by a person are retarded. We know this.
No, Del actually does help out a little bit. I've actually witnessed this from Jack's perspective. He actually does help out a bit. But it's the whole Jack is just absolutely useless. Becomes the original Jack version of just be good enough to open doors.
Jack, rip this door. Beep boop beep bop.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, my dude, so what's coming up on the What's Up With show?
Well, coming up soon, we've got a story about a drill that pierces the heavens, some random comedy, some backwards talk goes nowhere, as always, and the best part about it is another recording episode.
Alright, fair enough. Well, let's get back to the normal show.
Indeed.
And we're back. Jay, I wasn't able to fully beat Gears 5 before playing the podcast. I must be only maybe 30 minutes to an hour left in the game.
Look, let me ask you a very important question here.
Okay.
Have you chosen a decision that it is going to impact Gear 6?
Does it? So are you implying that the game doesn't finish the story? It just leaves it on a 5th cliffhanger?
No, kind of. Look, I knew coming into this it was the middle of a trilogy, so sort of.
Oh. Is Gears ever going to finish a story?
Yeah, Gears 3 did. And then look at what happened. Look, as a Gears fan, I'm not... I have a lot of issues with Gears 5.
Alright, do tell.
It doesn't feel like a Gears game to me.
I know what you mean.
I know that's really stupid, but like Gears, the controls and stuff feel a little bit too floaty. Like it reminds me more of a Halo or something. This damage output from guns isn't exactly what I would call good.
No, I found myself very okay. So here's my issue with the guns.
Okay.
This is like Killzone 3, where it's go get the big boom thing to kill all the things in this area, right? The difference is Killzone 3 really emphasized go get the big boom thing because you're going to make a big boom and it's going to be sweet. In Gears 5, it was go get the big boom thing and then rinse and repeat for the rest of the game with the same big booms. So, grenade launcher.
Boom
fire
shot.
3 times, kill the big thing, boom shot, bang, dead, and then use your weapon of choice. I went with the Boltac? Is that what it's called?
Boltok.
I went with the Boltac like through the whole game. Like, rarely did I ever get a new weapon from the start to finish in the entire game. It was just, oh, this enemy, it's that enemy, he's going to drop this gun, go get it, now I'm going to kill the bigger thing with that gun.
Yeah. See, the big issue, like, with the gun damage and output and all that crap, like, you can go through pretty much all the Gears games leading up to this one with the Nasher, which is the shotgun, and the Boltok. Because, like, the Boltok, after, like, 1 or 2 hits, if you've active reloaded it properly, shoots their heads off. And it makes a very satisfying sound. If you point blank something with the Nasher, it doesn't really matter what it is. Besides, like, an enemy here or there, they fall into pieces, also known as chunky soup. And it doesn't do that in this game. Like, the shotgun is very underpowered unless you're playing Horde mode, which pisses me off. The Boltok, it was my gun of choice in all the other games besides the long shot, which is a sniper. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do, and it pisses me off. The long shot, it doesn't feel like the long shot. Because everything feels so underpowered.
I did feel bullet sponge enemies for a good chunk of the game. I didn't like how it introduced a lot of the enemies either. So, Act 1, where you're JD, not myself.
Don't lie, you're playing as your alter ego.
Yeah, I'm playing as my alter ego JD in Gears of War. So, Act 1 I really enjoyed. I thought, because going into this, I go, okay, Gears is going to be more story-focused, right? Something I thought Gears was lacking. Because I felt like it was the same game over and over and over again.
The story's there. Like, for Gears, if you really want to get into the story, it's called novels.
Yeah, well,
you don't play Gears for the story. You play Gears to make enemies fall into bloody pieces. It's great.
So that's the repetitive nature. If you're going to come out with this, one huge thing I always emphasize is, if you're going to come out with a sequel, I would rather you try something new than nothing at all and just keep pumping out the same game over and over again. Because what inevitably happens is you get something like Tomb Raider, where you go, the franchise is over, and because it sold horribly and they put so much money into it, just making that same game, the franchise just disappears, right?
But let me ask you a question.
Okay.
If they've achieved, like, a success with a certain style of gameplay, like, hey, cool, bloody violence, stupid witty one-liners here and there, why bother changing that? Like,
because the game gets, because the whole franchise gets stale and nobody wants it anymore.
Okay, I get that, but...
And that's what's happened with Gears 5.
I just feel this game lacked. And I get it, like, it sold really well. It's got really good reviews from, like, a bunch of new people who played it.
It didn't sell well.
I thought it did.
No, Gears 5 is the least selling Gears of all time.
Huh.
And it has a lot to do with it going up for grabs on Game Pass.
It's also the least Gearsy game of all times.
So there's a lot of issues with Gears 5. Like, mechanically it's fine, right? Graphics are okay, I guess. It really looked like a 360 game to me. Maybe my computer wasn't strong enough.
It looked pretty on the Xbox One.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. So, Act 1 was very story-focused. It had your cool cutscenes. It had great moments of introducing just cool, big-ass fucking enemies. Even Act 2... I have issues with Act 2, but when you got... What was that big dude that was mind-connected to our main character, Kate?
Would you like its official name, or would you like to know what I was calling it?
Both.
Okay, so essentially it was just a berserker, but it was called the Matriarch.
The Matriarch, yes.
So it was pretty much just a reskin of an enemy from Gears 1, Judgment, and 3, which just runs at you and you shoot it with the Hammer of Dawn.
So... The introduction of the Matriarch was cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the boss fight was pretty lame. Shoot the ice, get behind it, shoot it. And you just do that over and over again until it dies.
Yeah, but I knew going into that's what it was going to be as soon as I saw what it was. Because that whole New Hope facility I had expectations for, and they did not live up to my ideas from what was teased in Gears 2.
Mm.
They built on it, like, a little bit from what you saw in Gears 2. But, yeah, they could have done a lot more with it. The story was very... So, it got off to a great start, and then you get into your little skiff
for the next couple arcs. And fuck, whole lot of nothing.
Dude,
right?
you didn't get the electronic upgrade the ice upgrade for your Jack?
Who cares?
Me, because I was playing as your Jack for a tiny bit so that I could talk about playing as Jack, because playing as Jack is very fun. And I flashbanged your enemies and they did not freeze, and therefore you could not shoot them into ice balls.
Who cares?
Me. I just said that.
It meant nothing to me, the main player.
Fair enough.
Because all I did was get the shield, and then it was like, okay.
So you didn't get all the upgrades for Jack?
No, I could not be bothered being so bored on the skiff in an open world in these two. So Act 2 is an open world ice place, and Act 3 is an open world desert place.
Kind of.
And both have nothing within the open worlds.
Yeah, like kind of open world.
Quote unquote. Yeah, it's very limited.
Did you say Paddock's water supply?
No.
You son of a bitch, you're gonna let the UIR die.
Yeah.
You're an asshole. Paddock's
I'm gonna go on with the story.
Paddock saved Bed's life in Gears in Judgment. You don't understand, dude. Paddock is a crucial character. You son of a bitch.
I don't care.
I hate you. Paddock's awesome.
So I did like how Gears 5 recapped what happened in the previous Gears games, especially 4.
It was mostly 4.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'm all caught up in the story, no big deal. Act 2 and 3 did absolutely nothing for me. It just felt like fetch quests. That's all it was. And then Act 4 sort of brought it together, but the problem is they're just throwing every single enemy at once in the game for no rhyme or reason. And the whole objective of the game is to get the Hammer of Dawn, the big satellite laser, back online, right? That's the whole game is just doing that.
Yeah.
Right? There's a little section in Act 2 where you find Kate's origin, where she's the daughter of the experimental child that connected to the what are they called?
Locust.
The Locust.
Well, now they're called the Swarm. But to be fair, I liked that part because it was always implied that Mira was human, which was the original queen, but we weren't exactly 100% sure how.
Yeah, but you could pretty much assume that's where the story was going. You go, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but it was just glad to see that finally clarified.
Yeah, it was good to see it. But how it was executed, I thought was done extremely poor.
Agreed.
Yeah. And then it's just dropped, essentially. It just goes, because you killed Kate's mom at the end of 4, and then...
Implied, yeah.
Well, come on. Stabbed, overdone, and then it just goes, nah, we're locusts, or like swarm, locust, whatever. They're using her body, that's the queen now.
You see, okay. I have a theory, and this is like in games or TV shows or anything. If I don't see a corpse, they're not dead. Because it cut to black and we looked away, I didn't see her die. That's not how you look at things?
I mean, unless they show me on screen, then the person's not dead, ever.
Well, it wasn't shown on screen in Gears 4. It was implied.
The intro pretty much told me she was dead.
Yeah, but you never actually...
And then the game confirms, yeah, she's dead, we're just using her body. Like, okay.
I'm sure that in Gears 6 it's going to be
There's even the line that says, Kate goes, my mom's dead, you're just using her body. I'm like, well, okay, yeah, I agree.
I'm sure that in Gears 6 it's going to be implied that her mum is like still in control. Because family drama reasons.
Yeah, probably. But Gears 6 I'm definitely not going to be interested in playing.
Oh, don't worry. I'll play through it and I'll finish it. And I'll probably complain about that game too, because it's not Gears 1 through 4.
So I was really hoping for a more story-focused character development, and it just feels forced here. It's like they couldn't really decide what they wanted to be after Act 1. Because they went through the open world while telling a story, but it was really a fetch quest. And then it goes into 4, and there's this random time skip, and then a reunion with JD, and it's just duck and cover from there, over and over again with the same enemies coming at you.
You didn't like JD's emo arc?
JD's what arc?
Emo arc.
Oh, where he was all sad because people died.
Yeah, because he got a Carmine kill because a Carmine must die in every game, because that's a running gag. And then he turns evil, and we get evil JD, and then he redeems himself in Chapter 3.
I mean, he just kind of shows up and he goes, "All right, I'm here."
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, great character development. Woohoo.
Pretty much. He goes bald and has a scar. It's pretty cool.
His arm's all fucked up from the laser. Yeah, burn wounds.
I don't understand, because like in the other Gears, like we always have access to the hammer, so I don't know what happened to the hammer. But seems like a little bit of a missed opportunity there to explain what happened to the satellites, but okay.
Yeah, I was really disappointed. I was really hoping for that focus to the game, and Act 2 just quickly ruined that for me. Playing Act 3 was a chore.
Hey, that's one I played the robot with.
Yeah, you co-opted that with me, and oh my god, Act 3, we have to talk about how if an AI character dies, you lose.
Yeah,
it's Battletoads-esque.
I didn't know that. I learned something playing with you, which either means A, you're not good at Gears, or B, the game's made poorly.
That's a very poorly executed part. And I was testing it out a lot in other sections. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to hang back. What ends up happening is, so if you're playing co-op, this is what happens. If you're playing co-op and you kept going to another side, certain AI characters will follow certain players. Say you and me. That is
correct.
Right? So you split them up, and then because they can't fire against the oncoming enemies, that they're more susceptible to death, then everyone's hanging out as a group in a team situation. So in a way it makes sense, but it's very stupid for the game, because it's a video game. Who gives a shit if the character quote unquote dies? He's just incapacitated. Is that so hard to program?
I get what you're saying. I don't remember that being a feature in the other Gears games, because I'd never let an AI die, so I'm not sure if they actually could.
Yeah. So that was incessantly infuriating. It happened a couple times in the later sections as I was playing, and in Act 4, I've come across a lot of bugs. Getting stuck behind invisible walls, going in pits, unable to get out.
I didn't have any of these problems.
Yeah. If you go into... What did I come across? There was another one. Game froze a couple times, just too much shit happening on the screen. My computer couldn't keep up with it. That's probably my computer's fault, I guess. But I have a pretty state-of-the-art laptop, so it doesn't make sense to me. But anyways.
All right, can I ask you a couple of questions before we move on? Question number 1. Did the damage, like health bar thing, piss you off as much as it did me?
For the enemies?
No, for you. Like, when you're taking damage, the screen color just goes completely red, except for the middle.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that in games generally, where it has the Microsoft Paint in your face the whole time.
Yeah.
And it just slowly dissipates.
In all the other Gears games, it's the opposite. Like, the Crimson Omen symbol, which you've probably seen sporadically throughout the game, fills up, and it's only the middle part.
Okay.
Which makes a hell of a lot more sense to me, because this was just frustrating as hell, being like, hey, look, here's blood. It's like, cool, I can't see.
Yeah.
Question number 2. What did you think of the boss fights, besides the Matriarch?
Well, I liked the first one. That was cool with the giant, whatever it's called, the Swarmak. I think that's what he's called.
Yeah, the Swarmak, also known as a Brumak with blisters.
Right. So I like that, going around the environment, shooting the blisters, enacting a cutscene where a character would come in, do something cool. Like, that was awesome. The setup for the Matriarch was cool because it had story implications. You go, okay, you're connected, but then the boss fight itself was pretty lame. Shoot the ice, go behind it, rinse and repeat. Didn't do anything new the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no like second form. There was no figure out the puzzle. It told you the answer to the puzzle immediately when the Matriarch got there.
Shoot the thing.
Shoot the ice. It'll freeze it. then shoot the blister behind it. Like, that sucked.
Correct.
Act 2... Act 3...
Act 3 had that thing at the oil rig.
Act 3 had the oil rig, and that was super easy.
Yeah, that was... I think it was supposed to be an intentional throwback to a segment in Gears 2 when you're on a boat. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, you're facing this weird desert octopus creature, and you just shoot its tentacle eye that's coming out, and you have all these giant weapons for that. So it's trying to do the Killzone 3 thing, where you're shooting these awesome guns at them, but the problem is, you've seen these guns throughout the game already. You know what they do, so it's just grenade launcher, bang, done. Grenade launcher, bang, done. Laser,
If
bang.
you're playing as Jack in that part too, I couldn't help but realize that the thing doesn't go for you.
No, there's a lot of flaws, and from what I can tell in Act 4, I guess we're just gonna come to a conglomeration of these number of bosses. Like I'm facing the Swarmak, so I get it, but I've seen everything already. So now I'm just waiting for the end, and it's not a very long game.
See, Act 4, I think, is to show new players what the hammer is actually capable of.
Well, that's the other thing. You finally get the Hammer of Dawn weapon, right? And you're just in this graveyard section shooting the hunters, the pouncers, and the, I don't know, things that do the War of the Worlds thing to you.
Also known as the Theron Guards, the Pouncers, and the things that do the War of the World things to you.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. Am I going to play the rest of the game with this sweet gun? No, you lose it immediately, including all of your other weapons, which I wasn't a fan of. I was like, great, now I have to go through this shitty pistol.
Look, if it was Gears anything to 5, you would have really liked the Bolt Talk. Okay.
Well, I still haven't used the ball talk. But anyways, yeah, I know what you mean where it feels like Halo more than Gears. I totally agree.
Alright, third question. Did you like any of the characters?
I liked Kate at first, because it seemed like they were going somewhere with her. And then it's
She
just...
slowly morphs into a whiny bitch.
Not even that. It's just nothing happened, right? She just goes, "Oh, I'm connected. My grandmother is the queen girl. Cool." Then that's it. Move on. And that's a big issue with a lot of the characters. It was just move on. So there's a moment in Act 4 where you have to choose between killing one of your comrades.
Well, hold on. Before we get to that, did you like Marcus, like the old soldier man?
I mean, he's cool. He seemed like he had the most character.
It's because he does. He's the protagonist from the other games, and I was convinced he was going to die in this game.
Nothing
that's what happens when you have an interesting character. Like, they have development and stuff, which is another thing I have a problem with this game, but moving on. So
there is no development. It's just move on with everything.
Exactly.
So when it came to choose between JD and Dell, I just went, well, my name's JD. I'm going to save him. I assume the other one's going to get his neck cracked. Oh, boo-hoo. And that's exactly what happened. And the characters are bawling their eyes out. They're like, oh, we lost Dell. And then as soon as Marcus gets here, he hugs his son, and they just go, all right, move out, boys. And then it's like nothing happened after that.
So I killed you because you're a dick.
No, thanks.
You're welcome. And Marcus loses his son, and he lost his wife before Gears 4, and he's very, 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 very broken now. And I feel bad because Marcus is like my favorite character in the series.
I should have killed myself then. That sounds incredibly more interesting than killing. Well, okay, I'll just stop that statement there.
But look, essentially, what's going to happen? You're going to fight the desert monster again.
Yeah, it pretty much told me that was going to happen. I just went, oh, why?
And then you're going to shoot it a bunch and realize that you're at the middle part of a trilogy and you're going to finish the game.
That fucking sucks. Oh, yeah, because I figured there's only like an hour of the game left. That's what it was telling me, essentially.
Yeah.
If not less. And I go, we're not going to get a conclusion to this not mom coming back and it's just gonna drag on.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, if you want to play Gears properly, go play 1 through 3, and then quit there, because Gears 4 is fun, but Gears 5 has kind of soured me on the franchise for the time being.
Yeah, I want to play the Resistance cross Gears comparison. I want to do that.
I picked up the Resistance Fuller Man. I haven't played it before. I'm curious to go do that, because you said you're going to do the same thing. I will probably end up doing the same thing as well.
Yeah, I need to find a time frame when I'll be able to do something like that.
I'm looking forward to it, because I just want to get into a new franchise that won't take me like a million years to finish.
So, Gears 5 really got me off to a high point, and then I just fell off as the game went on, became incredibly disappointed with it. Either, this is what needs to happen, in my opinion, as not a Gears fanboy.
Mm-hmm.
They need to do something drastically different with Gears 6.
Okay.
They need to get some sort of professional story writer, or make this game so kick-ass that the story is secondary.
Or, here's what they need to do with Gear 6. Fix my goddamn guns so things work, and make things, Gears-like again.
Make it unique. Don't make it the same fucking game again. And I have a feeling that's what they're going to do.
Which is fine, because I like that whole style of things. I just want my guns to work.
You just went through the whole podcast where you were not okay with Gears 5.
I'm not fine with Gears 5. I want them to do Gears 1 through 4 again.
They're not going to do that, though. This is the direction they're heading.
I know, and I'll finish this trilogy, and depending on how I feel after playing Gears 6 will depend on what I do.
Okay.
I'm pissed off with this game, but it does have some redeeming features. But for the most part, I'm angry with it because I'm a Gears fan.
Yeah. This is not making probably even my top 15 of the year.
It's probably not making mine either, and like I said, I'm a Gears fan.
Yeah.
I will say, though,
all right,
playing as Jack is awesome.
So this is where we are going to transition to my mom and I talking about Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening Remake, and when we come back, Jay and I will finish out the cast, and that'll be that. Here we go. Alrighty, I am now joined by Mama-san. Hello, Mother. How you doing today?
Hello, son. Good. How are you?
Hey, it's Monday.
Hey.
We got Zelda to talk about. The game of the month.
Yeah, exciting. Love it.
So, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening HD Remake. Developed, published by Nintendo. It's a remake of an old Game Boy game from 1993 that has seen the light of day yet again. What'd you think?
Yay! I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun. Reminds me of Mario.
Well, it's funny you mention that. There's a lot of Mario characters in the game.
Like which ones?
The Chompy Chomp dog.
Okay.
The little Goomba creatures that you see in the 2D. Yeah, there's all kinds. There's all kinds. A lot of enemies are pulled from Mario games. Make a lot of references to the Mario games. So yeah.
Well, that's fun.
It's even produced by the creator is the same creator of Mario. Creator of this game.
I just realized my fan was on. I gotta turn that off. It was
fine.
very warm. Very warm here yesterday.
Yeah.
All right. I'm back.
So you like the Mario stuff. What else did you like about this game? Because
I think
watched
it was I like that it kept your attention.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun for both adults and children of any age. I just liked it. It was very entertaining.
What did you like this more than Control, our game from last month?
Oh, it's not apples to apples. Those are two different.
I realize that,
Totally,
but which one did you like more?
Well, I like Control for its difficulties and storyline.
Mm-hmm.
but it's more for more mature audience. So it's but then I liked the Zelda because I think it has more rounded, but it's gameish. It's more cartoony.
Well, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I liked them both. If I had to choose between the two, I would pick the cartoon.
Just because it's more family friendly? Or just easier to...
I think it's just easier to grasp, and there's not a lot of... I don't like difficult games. I don't like to be challenged all that much. I think Control is an extreme challenge, and it doesn't really keep your attention as much. So I think this game does that.
Yeah, what I liked about this game is you kind of have, I mean, you pretty much know where to go and what direction you need to go, but at the same time, the just finishing of that, knowing where to go, like all this one does is give you a general direction. The problem in Control was it just says you have to go to this place. You don't know that general direction. There's a lot of wandering.
Right, a lot of wandering. I don't like to wander.
No, because then you feel like your time's being wasted.
Right. Well, and not only that, you end up getting frustrated, and so it doesn't make for a fun game when you have a lot of frustration setting in, because then you're going, screw this. I want off this. I'm done. I'll come back later, and you may not even come back later because you're too frustrated.
Well, the plot in this is really simple. It's our protagonist, Link. He's on a boat. He gets caught up in a storm. He's stranded on an island. Place is guarded by a deity of some kind. It's called the Windfish. And the people say, hey, if you want off the island, you have to wake up the Windfish. In order to do that, he has to gather up a bunch of musical instruments that will wake him up. So that takes you to a number of different caves or dungeons, if you will. And at the end of the dungeon is the instrument. So you're all trying to figure out puzzles outside, how to get into the dungeon, and then while you're in the dungeon, there's little puzzles in there as well. You saw 2 of the dungeons, and then you saw a little bit of the wandering part where there was kind of trading of items afterwards, and that's where it got a little tedious. What did you think of the journey to the dungeon and then in the dungeon as well?
I like that going through the journey of getting there. I like the having to whack through things and throw things.
Well, you were a big fan of the sound effects.
I did like the sound effects.
Right. A lot of that going on.
Right. But and then getting into the dungeons where, all the activity that gets when you're in the dungeon is fun. I like the little caterpillar that you had to chop his tail off.
Yeah, the first
that
boss
was kind of funny. Yeah.
Yeah, the bosses have a certain charm to them, don't they?
They do.
It's like, I'm gonna get you, and you go, no, you're not gonna get me. Whack, 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 whack.
There's a lot of whacking going on. But yeah, it was a fun game. I wanna watch some more and play.
Oh well, maybe. You're gonna get another cartoony type game coming up here, and
that's right. You got something new, right?
Yeah. Well, let's see here. It is. So this weekend we'll probably continue on with some Control, assuming I'm not dead to the world and have to work on Saturday again.
Control got you.
Yeah, different kind of Control got me. So I want to talk more about the family experience, because you mentioned that, and that's kind of a big thing. That's I feel like it's underrated these days. Where I remember we were talking in another chat where this is a good experience for parents to spend time with their children. It's that kind of game. You mentioned that. Would you care to expand on that, since you are yourself a mother?
Well, I feel that this game in particular would be a fun game for all ages. Probably, what do you think? When it's all ages, even a 4 or 5-year-old, I mean, I would think that they wouldn't have a lot of issue. But I think that it's a good game to enjoy with everyone.
So what you're saying is no matter the age. Excuse me?
It's a 2 people, or is it a 1-person game only?
Oh, it's 1 person only.
Yeah. And so even if the child would get into an area where they're like, I'm really stuck, it's fun to watch and it's fun to help. And I can see a parent being a part of them with this game, because it is fun.
That's a very good point, because no matter how young a child is, whether they themselves are watching or the parents are watching, you can experience the fun and magic of it all at the same time. And if the child is just old enough where they can grasp playing it, like they understand what they're playing, then before they get frustrated, the parent can kind of jump in and say, "Hey, why don't you go over there or do this or try this?" And they go, "Oh, okay," and then they got it.
Right.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
How about the music? What'd you think of the music?
I thought it was fun. I think everything about this game is fun. I enjoyed the music because it's entertaining. It's part of the cartoon kind of music, whereas I think your more serious games have that dark. But this is fun. It's upbeat. Yeah.
So highly recommend from Mom's approval?
I give it a 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Well, thank you,
That's
Mother.
a 2
Nice,
thumbs up.
nice and quick today. we didn't have a whole lot to discuss as we did with Control, because Control was much more story oriented. This one's much more simplistic in that regard. I'm a big fan of
that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the art style myself with this game. I do get a little caught up in wandering around too much because some things aren't totally clear. But luckily, the internet exists nowadays where I go, okay, if I feel like I'm wasting my time, just look it up. This way, I got to do next.
Oh, you cheated. Oh, so they don't use the books anymore?
No. What's a book? Is that the internet when it's made out of paper?
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
All right.
They don't even use books anymore.
I want to buy some books coming up here, but they're just going to be on my Kindle,
Well, and exactly, I mean, I remember when you used to have to buy a book to get through some of the games.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VIII was the one I begged you to buy for me because I was so stuck.
That's right. You still have that book?
I do. I do still have it. It's very important to me.
Wow.
It's got all the pictures, little story backgrounds, everything. It's fun.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you like this game. Coming up next month, in the month of October here, we'll be playing 2 games. A little short. The first one is Medieval. It is it's another remake from a game from the 90s. You're a skeleton that has come back from the dead. His name's Sir Daniel.
Oh, cool.
And then at the very end of the month is Luigi's Mansion 3, a Mario kind of spin-off game. You're Mario's brother, and you're in a haunted, spooky mansion.
Gotcha.
I think this one takes place
fun.
in a hotel. So
Well, it's appropriate.
Yeah, 2 more cartoony games for
Cool.
you. And
Looking forward to it.
yeah, and they're in the Halloween spirit, so hooray.
Absolutely.
We'll see which one you like more on that one and how it compares. By the end of the year, let's see, we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. We'll get a good nice little top 3 list from you at the end of the year.
Perfect.
Well,
Looking
Mom, thank
forward
you.
to it.
Thank you for joining me on
You're
another
welcome.
month.
Yeah.
So from the
you're
mom's
welcome.
Let's Plays perspective and the child's perspective, she gives Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening HD Remake 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
All right, Jay. We have returned to finish out this September podcast talking about fucking, 15 games? Something like that.
It was fairly big. Dude, I absolutely adored this game. Like, Link's Awakening has been my favorite Zelda. It doesn't matter whether it's the original, DX, this. I freaking love this Zelda game.
It's quite enjoyable. It has an immense amount of charm to it. The map is not very big, coming from a game that was on the Game Boy.
That is true. And also comparing to other Zeldas that are on this system.
Yeah. I'd played the Game Boy game to almost completion this year, in fact, earlier this year for the Retro Gaming podcast. So playing the HD remake, it's amazing how quickly I forgot a lot of things.
Yeah.
Where to go, where things are, how to activate certain things. Like it took me 30 minutes to remember how to get into the 4th dungeon, for example.
Which one's the 4th dungeon?
That's the one where you have to go to a plateau, insert the key. It'll stop the waterfall from going down, and then you got to go to the Tip Top Mountain thing, and then you'll drop down to where the dungeon is.
Oh, is that the one that we get after finding the golden feathers? Because I forgot where one of those golden feathers was, and it took me like an hour to remember to hit the crow.
That's the dungeon before the golden feathers.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but the golden feathers was kind of annoying. So I ended up looking up a walkthrough because I didn't remember to, again, like you said, throw something against a tree at the crow. This enemy has this. You have to kill certain things. Like one's buried kind of situation.
Yeah.
Still not a fan. I said this in the Link's Awakening original. Still not a fan of the item trading quest that you have to do.
Yeah, because you need that for the color dungeon.
Yeah.
And for the path for the windfish. Wait, do you need it for the windfish thing? I don't remember.
I don't think so, but you do need to get it for the color dungeon. So it's like, oh, this guy needs this item, this guy needs this item.
But the color dungeon's optional. You don't need to do that.
Come on, you need to do the color dungeon.
Well, you do, but you don't. Like, I know what you mean.
You totally do.
By the way, do you go blue or do you go red? Is it offense or defense?
You know what? I always do offense. I think I'll do defense when I get to that point in the game again.
So you're a little red boy.
Yeah, why not?
Fair enough. Nah, you got a best offense is a good defense, dude. If you can mop up damage, you can just dish it back. It's fine.
The fetch questy element, still not a fan of, but finding Marin and you don't know quite where she is, and the game doesn't hint where she is.
Was this during the Animal Village part?
Yeah. So it all kind of wraps together. I'm like, okay, I have to find this chick. Where is she? And I'm like, back in town. No one even hints. There's other people missing. They're all just like, yeah, you should probably find her. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Where is she? Oh, look, she's at the beach at that one place that I've been to 30 times.
I was there once. Are you kidding me?
Well, so what, you went to the beach once? Or are you talking about that one specific square of the beach once?
I just went to the beach one time. And that was to get the sword and leave, and I never went back.
You gotta go there to get the bananas for the trade quest.
Well, yeah. I was like, okay, this monkey wants banana. I got the banana, so I just went to the house, and then that was it. Right?
Hey, you know that tiny ass monkey that's next to the beach house?
Yeah, who's chucking coconuts at you?
What does he do? Because I couldn't work it out. I don't remember
I don't
if he
know.
does anything.
I don't know. I mean, you can whack him and he runs away, but he comes back right away. So I think you just chase him off.
Fair enough.
Yeah. My understanding. The game the game's new art style eludes so much charm. Eludes?
It's adorable.
Regardless. It's adorable. It's adorable.
Indeed.
Is there anything you don't like about the game?
The fact that I still had to attach the Rock's Feather as an attachable item because everything else seemed to not be required as an attached item.
Yeah. It seems like they could have spruced up the gameplay mechanics.
Dude, looking at the freaking controller right now, this is just a little nitpick that I have. They gave the shield a designated button. They gave the Pegasus boots a designated button. They gave the sword a designated button. Why the frig do I need a friggin' item attached as an optional attachment in order to jump? Whereas other things I don't.
I do agree with that.
Especially with how much you need to use a Rock's Feather throughout the game, it just would have made more sense to give that its own unique button.
Yeah. I would have liked a little bit more direction in certain places in the game. Basically, what I've
gives
just
you
said.
a rough idea where to go, and if you need to figure it out, you can go talk to the dude on the phone.
Yeah, but he basically says what you already know, but
Or
you
it will
don't know
give you
where.
a rough hint as to where to go.
I mean, he goes, oh, this is in the southeast. And you go, okay, but how do I get to the southeast? And you just kind of look at the map. And all right.
Usually the items
it's not to me. It's not one of the more obvious Zelda games.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people like about it. It just frustrated me in parts, and I felt like I was wasting my time. Like it just felt like it was extending the time of the game on purpose, rather than it flowing as well. Unlike other Zelda games of the past, like let's take, what's the 3DS Zelda?
Link Between Worlds.
Link Between Worlds. Yeah,
That's a good game
paced. Yeah, that paced amazingly well. You knew exactly what you needed to do, where to go.
Have to.
And the game didn't tell you anything.
Indeed, you could also borrow items, so you didn't really need to own them.
Right. You go, okay. You found your way to the dungeon. So you go back, get your item. This game, you have to kind of stumble upon the dungeons, rather than you kind of know where to go.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
if you go back and look at Zeldas of the
different.
time, it fits in well with that whole era. And
it does. It
it's
does.
a good
And it was
thing.
annoying to me back then as well.
Sorry. It's a good thing though that like they brought back one of the more beloved Zelda games for a new generation to try out. I'm not sure if anybody from the new generation that's going to play this is going to like it because, as you said, it's a little bit cryptic and unsure where to go at certain times. But
well, luckily the internet has walkthroughs everywhere. So
that's what I was about to mention.
Yeah, it definitely saved a lot of my frustrations for sure. But this is definitely making a top list of some kind.
It is. It for sure is. It's probably in my top 5 games of the year. I absolutely love this game, and as I said before, it doesn't matter what version it is. I love Link's Awakening.
Top 5? Ooh.
Hey, my top 5.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it might make my top 5 actually as well. Now that I'm looking at my list.
Resident Evil 2 has got to be on that list as well.
Well, yeah. It's funny how 2 remakes from the late 90s, early 2000s are making lists in 2019.
I was starting to think that maybe for the end of the year awards, we need to do a best remake category. But the question is then, how are we going to narrow it down between Zelda or Resident Evil?
Yeah. Depend. I don't know. It's
the
too
fans
much.
can decide.
The fan can decide.
Just like Kev decide.
Yeah. All right. Highly recommend Zelda Link's Awakening remake. That was our winning game of September for sure. No argument there.
Hell no.
Yeah. So let's take a quick look at October. We got The Outer Worlds, which is also going to be free on Game Pass.
Looking forward to that game. Spiritual successor to Fallout New Vegas.
Medieval HD Remake. So we got
Looking forward
another
to
one.
that game.
So we got at least 3 HD remakes here. Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I think we'll just shit on that game already.
It's Wildlands with
Concrete
less.
Genie. Yeah. Little Town Hero comes out. That's the Pokemon people. That's going to be interesting. Luigi's Mansion 3. Yooka-Laylee, The Impossible Lair. The 2D sequel to Yooka-Laylee.
Just gonna say something to you now. I'm not gonna play that game. I did not like Yooka-Laylee 1. I thought it did a disservice to Banjo-Kazooie.
So that kind of goes with what we were saying with the Surge 2 talk.
Yeah.
I can tell you the sequel is much better.
Yeah.
Anyways, and assuming Crazy Machines PSVR comes out, we'll be mentioning that one as well. So yeah, October looking strong.
What's the mum
Jay?
game for October?
Luigi's Mansion 3 and Medieval probably. That's
Fair
the
enough. Fair
second
enough.
game for fun. So we'll probably be talking about 2 of them. Concrete Genie is a no-go. Don't have time.
Alrighty, I'll look into it if I get time.
Mm-hmm.
If not, it might have to be an honorable mention.
Yeah. Well, all right, boys. Jay, thanks for joining me yet again. The next time we will talk will be you guesting on the Retro Gaming Podcast, talking soundtracks
Hey!
and video games.
That episode's
That is
coming
our
out, is it?
theme. Yeah, we got all our games picked.
Can I tease what game I'm doing?
Yes.
I'm doing a skateboarding game.
Ooh.
Indeed. With a very, very, very good soundtrack.
Yeah. Well, that is the name of the game for the theme. So yeah, head on over to iTunes, leave us a nice little 5-star review, even a 4-star review. I don't care.
Now, 1-star
Preferably
reviews.
5.
Do you have them?
I think I have 1. Just 1.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. Hit us up on Twitter. You are at the Viva La JD. I am at Bowling JD. Use the hashtag RedleafRetrocast for all your stuffs. And this was Modern Gaming episode 25. See you next time.
Peace out, guys.